Is that you, Lord? Hearing the Voice of the Lord, a Biblical Perspective. Written by Gary E. Gilley. Narrated by Shawn Saavedra. They who leave the light of the Word and follow the light within them, as some say, prefer the shining of the glowworm before the sun. Thomas Watson. This book is dedicated to my sons, Benjamin and Brian. What joy it brings me to know that you both walk with the Lord and seek to serve Him. Forward. I would like to call this book a welcome addition to the plethora of scholarly works that uncover the theological error of continuing revelation. However, such a collection of books is not available that responds exhaustively to the view of inerrant and extra-biblical divine knowledge of God's perfect will. Such works are usually rare, complex, and unread by the average saint. Of course, many conservative evangelicals and fundamentalists have written to contest the open canon views of the Roman Church, cults, and charismatics. The conclusion in many of these works is that God is not speaking to these other groups, but somehow He does speak to evangelicals. Thus, many evangelicals strongly contend for inerrancy of Scripture without embracing the sole authority and all sufficiency which Scripture claims for itself. Gary Gilley has not produced a superficial revision of other works on this subject. On the contrary, his direct writing style has reduced an extremely complex subject to easily digestible bites that will become powerful tools in the hands of the average Christian. The reader, in addition to becoming familiarized with the historical roots of pietism, subjectivism, and the mysticism that affects much thinking today, will become thoroughly enmeshed in the biblical reasons why further revelation from God is unnecessary today. Christ's promise that the Spirit would grant total recall and personal inerrancy was directed only to the men who would deliver the doctrines of the New Testament Church for the dispensation of grace. These truths have been handed down to us within the pages of a closed canon of Scripture. From James 4:13 through 16, the reader discovers that he must not boast of divine knowledge of his personal and geographic destiny, because no one knows from God whether he will still be living by this time tomorrow. How unfruitful it is to spend time listening for the voice of God when you could spend intimate time in confession and prayer and the...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?